RuneScape is a game with a lot of stuff, and you expected to use that stuff a lot of times to progress. For example, you would need to chop 192,771 teak logs to go from 35 woodcutting all the way up to 99. That's around 4 logs for every killer whale in the world. You're welcome, nature. But what if you couldn't do that? Now then, here's Highland Andy, or Highlander for short, the pinnacle of snowflake ironmen accounts. His goal is to do everything Gielinor has to offer, once and only once. This is HighlanderMan. Big shout out to Antonio Buster Bad for making the intro music. If you like what you hear, go and check him out. The man's talented. Link in description. Let's get the technical stuff out of the way first with the rules. I'll put a link to the full rules below, but in short, everything that can be killed, chopped, mined, picked up or whatever can be used only once. Once it's gone forever. Respawning? Never heard of it. Everything you collect can be used as much as you like. Cook all the food, smelt all the ores, spend all the gold on NFTs if you want, but there are no restrictions on using the items you gather. Currently, quests that reward XP are banned. I will review this as we progress, but for now I don't want to skip all the early and interesting levels by just doing quests. Looking at you, Waterfall Quest. That's enough rules talk for now. I don't want this to turn into a series for people who like reading the terms and conditions, so let's get into the good stuff. Numbers and clicking! We started out, like most people, on Tutorial Island, where we made the most Scottish looking character we could come up with. Because, of course we did. Look at those shorts. Perfect attire to enjoy a scorching 8-degree summer day. The challenge rules were put in place straight away, so we caught a shrimp from each of the 3 fishing spots and chopped down all the trees in the starting area, where I learned that on Tutorial Island, the game stops you from holding more than 3 logs at a time, and that dropped items disappear super fast. I never knew that. After achieving the dizzying heights of 3 woodcutting and 3 firemaking, the English government tries to keep us down by telling us that we can't chop any more trees. Our dreams of levelling an island to build an empire of dodgy chicken shops has been ruined once again. Thanks, Obama. With our spirits destroyed, we move on to learning about cooking. Next up is the quest guide, where we learn about all the quests we won't be doing. Then, we go down into one of the few mines that Thatcher couldn't close to learn how to dig for ores and make weapons. Andy tried his best to catch Blacklung, made a bunch of unlicensed bronze daggers, and moved on to meet the truest of Chads himself, Vanacker, who gave us the skills we needed to survive a night in Glasgow. Unfortunately, we're only allowed to kill 2 rats, one with melee and one with ranged, so we can't cross the rest off the list. But don't worry, we'll be killing plenty of rats soon enough. Afterwards, we learned how to use the bank and how to vote no to PvP updates. Then we learned how to use prayers and finally came to the most important part, activating the prestigious ironmeme status. And I almost forgot to do it. Anyway, ignore the fact I chose hardcore. It's not relevant to the series and I already lost it trying to get footage for the intro.
But you can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrificed?
For our final task, we spoke to Gandalf the Blue to learn how to make long-range chicken nuggets with magic. And with that, we finished Tutorial Island. We're transported to the mainland, where we immediately drop everything we were given, because nothing says challenging like having to acquire your own bronze axe. We even dropped the 25 GP that you get given in the bank. Our first task is to head over to Burnthorpe to get a Slayer assignment. I don't know how realistic it is, but I want to try and get a few Slayer levels to unlock a couple of extra monsters to kill. So to begin with, we will do as many Slayer tasks as we can until we get the inevitable impossible task. For our first task, we're given goblins, which is very fitting. So we headed back to Lumbridge to get our training sword and shield, and our first and only 3 runes from the magic tutor. For our first kills, we mage them over a fence, as getting our magic up is going to be important for later on. I'll also take this opportunity to explain exactly how tracking kills works. For every NPC that spawns, we can kill that spawn exactly once. So it's not just one goblin, but every goblin.
none will be safe.
According to the wiki, there are 121 goblins in Lumbridge alone, which sounds like a lot, but that's only 2,420 attack experience, which is about enough to get to level 16 attack. So we're going to need to find a lot of stuff to kill to get those levels up. We'll be killing stuff that you've never even heard of. Once we start combat with the goblin, we tag it with using Runelight, so that we know that we can't kill it again. And that's combat. Kill a thing, mark it, and then on to the next one. That's the game. Yeah, no, this doesn't work. Runelight NPC tags are not remembered between game sessions, so I'll have to come up with a different method to track this. I recorded all this before I found out that it doesn't work, so bear with me for this episode. I'll have it resolved before the next one. After a couple kills, we realised that we could go and pick up a better weapon, so it's off to Zaya to pick up a free iron sword. And it's a bloody long walk. As the legend Rendy himself would say, "Fuck this continent." I'm probably going to be using this sword for less time than it took to get it, but that is a weapon upgrade. After a few more kills, we are reminded by this guy, shout out to this guy, to go and get our Iron Man armor. I promise I'm not new to this game, I'm just an idiot. A few more kills later and the task is done, so it's back to Burnthorpe to get another one. On the way, we stopped off at the pub to get our 1 ale and our 1 beer. We even filled the beer up from the beer barrel, which yes, is limited. We were also visited by Evil Bob on the way and did our 1 completion of the Fishing Island random event. Look at all these free fishing nets. At the end, we are rewarded with enough fishing experience to take us to level 7, which is kind of like cheating, but fuck it, I'm keeping it in. Consider it an unpolled integrity change. Okay, Jarrell, what's our next task going to be? Hopefully nothing too awkward. 47 monkeys. Fuck. Thank you for watching. If you have any ideas or suggestions for how you'd approach this challenge, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And while you're down there, feel free to click subscribe and make me feel good about myself if you want. I'm pretty excited to make this. I've never done anything like this before and it's shaping up to be super interesting. So hopefully I'm not the only one who thinks this and you'll join me for the ride. Episode 2 will be out as soon as it's done. I hope to see you there. See ya.